Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassett, and the Bears finally won a game after nearly a year. They beat the Commanders in a game that wasn't even close, and although many would assume that no one's having a worse day than Commander fans, there is a fan base that is, and that, of course, is the Carolina Panthers. Now, remember, they made a big trade with the Bears to get the number one overall pick. And I think in hindsight, we have to look at what they gave up to get Bryce Young. They gave up DJ Moore, Jalen Carter, and Caleb Williams. Those three players all gone. Those three players that could have changed the Carolina Panthers forever, and instead, we have to wonder, is Bryce Young worth it? Patrick.
It's a sad day because you look around and you're going, well, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, and what are we going to do? And you have to start looking at it and you're like, we made a bad trade because now the Bears are going to get Caleb Williams and we could have had him.
Yeah, I don't know if the Bears are going to get Caleb Williams, especially because, I guess if the Panthers keep losing, they will because they had the Panthers pick. So, because we know the Bears aren't getting Caleb Williams with their pick because the Bears might win out. You know, they're playing.
Right, they might go on an all-time run.
The Bears might go on an all-time run here, but it is interesting because, remember, Carolina this past week, Patrick, put out there like, so we're in the trade market for a number one overall receiver. Many
would have been nice to have.
Are saying it would have been nice to have maybe DJ Moore there, who just had 3 touchdowns last night on a team that people didn't even think their quarterback could throw the ball. And I say quarterback because I think he's finally elevated from the running back status.
Right.
And so, yeah, of course, if you have DJ Moore, you probably don't have Bryce Young, but I think a lot of Panthers fans are saying they'd be okay with that. Not me.
Well, and there was a guy until a couple hours ago that was available. He was a first-round adjacent wide receiver, and that was Chase Claypool. But the Panthers could have had him. They decided not to go get him. And because we know that the two teams, they're familiar with each other. You know, they've made the deals before, but instead they opted not go with that.
No, they did not. And so, yeah, it's wild time. Wild time to be a Panthers fan. We're hoping for the best. I know some people who are Panthers fans. It's a tough existence for them, and everyone thought Bryce Young was going to be the guy. And maybe it's too soon. Probably is too soon to write him off. But, people are calling Caleb Williams a generational talent. And newsflash, you guys weren't going to win this year, even if Bryce Young was good.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was that. Feels like you could have just maybe said, hey, we're gonna lose just an extra season, but we're gonna be exponentially better for it. You know, it's like going to the gym just a little bit longer, but you're gonna make some real strides at the end there.
Well, and that's the thing, Josh, is because you look around and let's be honest. Do you know how wild it is for a defeated team 4 weeks to the season to be like, we're on the wide receiver 1 market. We're gonna bring in a guy, wide receiver 1. You should be doing everything you can to tank and to get that pick, but oh wait, they can't.
Yeah, no, I agree. So it's gonna be tough, but I tell you what, the Bears, man, they gotta be feeling pretty good about where they are. As good as you can be for a team that has not won a game in almost a full calendar year. So they went out there and they destroyed the Commanders. In Commie County, you know, and
they went in Commie County,
And I'll tell you what, there's a guy who is now leading the league in touchdowns who we said couldn't even throw. Now, I say leading the league because he is tied for most touchdowns with an MVP caliber quarterback, Kirk Cousins. But
just played an extra game.
Oh man, Justin Fields, he went out there and it was a statement game for him. I believe a perfect passer rating, which I don't understand how that works because
I did not see perfect passes last night.
I have no idea how that goes. Patrick, what do you think about Justin Fields, and do you think the Bears team might actually win another game this year?
Yeah, I think they're poised to win another game this year because Justin
And you were on
Fields-
record saying 0-17.
Yeah, I was wrong. Josh. And they're poised to go on an all-time run. And Justin Fields is not bad for a running back. Because when you look at the stats, he's the 12th highest paid running back. So now with the running back market being the way it is, bring in a running back that can also throw the ball. Because that's how. So if you're looking around, all these running backs are trying to get right. It's a Derrick Henry model. So if you're a running back trying to get paid, which we see him, Josh Jacobs, yeah, he was sitting out of camp. You got other guys that are going to be coming up on contracts. JK doesn't look like in the greatest shape right now. But if you can add throwing the ball to it, we see what the endless potential is in the top 12 running back market.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, Justin Fields, he did play good though. And I'll tell you what, DJ Moore, I said it from week one. If they just try to throw him the ball every play, I think they would be in much better shape. And they weren't throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
They just and DJ Moore was even alluding to him like he didn't feel like he was being used like at all. And so now they are using him. Good things happen when you throw it to DJ Moore. Is all I'm going.
Good things.
I think they're kind of figuring that out. But Patrick, I'm going to bring up a stat here. I think that many people are going to be. It's going to kind of open some eyes here. Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
The Bears beat the Commanders, but the Commanders beat the Cardinals.
Wow.
And the Cardinals beat the Cowboys.
Sure, Super Bowl favorites.
I.e., are the Bears better than the Cowboys?
Bears are better than the Cowboys right now when you look at it because they
right now
are coming off the biggest win of the season for any team, really. And I don't think the Cowboys can say that. So when you look around, what are you going to do? You're going to say that the Bears are better than the Cowboys because the Bears have a quarterback that the Cowboys should be playing. It's Trey Lance. If Trey Lance goes in for the Cowboys and you're on the same offense as Justin Fields last night, endless potential.
Yeah, now the question has to be asked, Patrick, is the 0-4 Bears victory, in a pretty much first victory in a whole year, is that more impressive than the Commanders' preseason Super Bowl win?
Unfortunately not, Josh, because what the Commanders did in the preseason was monumental. It'll go down in the record books. It's going to go down. Like, nobody's going to ever remember this Week 5 Thursday night football game, ever. But they're going to remember that Week 2 preseason game, Baltimore Ravens, Washington Commanders 2023. And that's why Ron Rivera goes all out to try to win that game. And it's worth it for many generations.
So you're saying to me that the preseason Super Bowl victory for the Commanders outweighs the loss to the 0-4 Bears. It's a trade-off. It's a trade-off you take.
Right, but let's not forget that's the biggest 0-4 win. That's the biggest win by an 0-4 team of all time because guys were going to get fired after that game. That's what I was told.
Oh, yeah.
And instead they go into Commie County and come out with a W?
Yeah, well, can you imagine if that win saves jobs? And I'm not saying this, but there's a chance that this Bears team could be rough for a while. Potentially. I'm not saying that because obviously we know they're about to go to an all-time run here. But say they don't. That win might have been the worst thing that could happen to the Bears. And I'm not saying that because they are about to go to an all-time run here. But looking at it realistically, if they don't go an all-time run, it could potentially be detrimental to the organization because jobs might be saved. Yeah. So, but we're not saying that because, again, they are going an all-time run.
No.
And so the Commanders, hopefully, that preseason Super Bowl victory is holding them, keeping them going.
Well, and that's why... And that's why you get up this morning because you know that you're preseason Super Bowl champions. You get up, you're back at work, you're going, it's okay, we're going to ride the ship out. And I'm sure everybody,
I was surprised they didn't put the banner up last night because it felt like that would have been the appropriate time in the primetime game, but I'm sure they'll find another time. But speaking of the Bears traded away Claypool today, and he's going to the Dolphins. And many people are confused. many Dolphins fans are confused because you basically have the fastest team ever assembled. I mean, you have a team that's so fast that Wink Martindale, defensive coordinator for the Giants, who has to play them this week, is literally crying as he sleeps. Is what he's saying. He's waking up every 2 hours. He's that scared, right? And
we can't have
that's
that.
how fast
we can't
they
have
are.
that in the National Football League.
Well, crying at work is never good. Then again, I guess it was at his own time, right? He was personal time, but
it was on his own time. He just admitted to it at work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So blurred line there. But you take this fastest team ever, and then what they said is, we're actually too fast. We need to bring in some people that are just the exact opposite of the wide receiver build we have here. And so they go out and they get a guy who, I mean, really just takes the team average on like the 40, just way down.
I think this is a bad trade for the Bears. And I tell you why, Josh, because we look at it, they didn't get Robbie Chosen back. That's a guy you got to get back in this deal if you're bringing him, because he's going to be a guy that comes in, he's got a lot to prove. Robbie Chosen, he hasn't done much. Robbie Chosen hasn't done much. Other guys that look like him have, but Robbie Chosen himself, he only has a couple touchdowns. You bring that guy to the Bears, he's got a chip on his shoulders.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe. How crazy would it be, though, if, like, McDaniels just brings him in and, like, uses Claypool in ways that people never even fathomed before, and all of a sudden the Bears look back and go, oh, shoot, like, this guy was on our team this whole time? Because remember, they never really got to use him in the Justin Fields quarterback era. They only ever used him in the Justin Fields running back era. I imagine if you throw the ball to him, he's probably doing pretty good. So, yeah, it's a mind-boggling trade for sure. And I think that if he does go out there and ball, would be wild. So that's cool. I mean, I think that we pretty much that's all there really is to this trade. Now, Patrick, this has become kind of a running theme in the Friday episode. It's Al Michaels trending all over the internet. Now, when I woke up this morning and I saw Al Michaels trending, I was not sure what we were going to get. I was completely prepared for, and I watched that whole game. I was completely prepared for some call that I didn't overanalyze, and Al Michaels said this, and people are going crazy. No, it wasn't that. People are, I don't know if they're outraged or if they respect him. There's a lot of different opinions. Al Michaels has never eaten a vegetable in his life, per Al Michaels. Mm-hmm. And I think as someone who despises vegetables but eats them because I was told that they're healthy for me, I think this kind of potentially opens my eyes because he's had one of the most successful careers of all time. I'm not saying correlation and causation kind of thing there, but should I stop eating vegetables, Patrick?
Yes, because here's the thing. You look at it, it's the ultimate football guy move. Like, a football guy doesn't need to eat vegetables. Sits on his couch. We're watching ads. We're getting, Little Caesars pizza, hot and ready. It's coming to the door. I know you're more of a Domino's guy, Josh, but that's
big Domino's guy, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're coming to the door and you're eating some wings. You're having a good time. And there's no carrots there, and nor should there be.
Now, I am disappointed that, for some reason in wing culture, we are just slapping celery and carrots on every order. We could stop that. We don't have to do that, right?
Not a Finn's Ale House.
Now, Patrick, before the show, you called Cap. You said Al Michaels has definitely eaten a vegetable. Yeah. Do you actually think? Have you come around? Have you said no, he hasn't eaten a vegetable? Or are you saying he's definitely eaten vegetables?
He's eaten a vegetable before. He just might not eat them now. Because you're telling me this guy's never had a salad? You're telling me this guy's never had a salad?
I mean, that's what he's saying, I think.
No, I don't believe it, Josh.
Okay, well, I hope it's true. I hope he's never eaten a vegetable. Now, if something unexpectedly happens and he has some health concerns, I think we're all gonna probably know why. But we're not. Again, we don't believe that to happen.
We're not.
We're just. Yeah. So, hey, good for you, Al, and good for you for not trending or not good for you for not trending for a call. Instead,
Yeah.
Instead you're trending for a statement that you made, not
Right.
on the game. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Game of the week time sponsored by picksandpancakes.shop. Make sure you guys go to picksandpancakes.shop to get all your merch, all your gear. We got some cool shirts, hoodies, crews. I know as the winter's coming, you want to get nice and warm. It's the perfect place to go and get your next any piece of apparel. Picksandpancakes.com or picksandpancakes.shop. Game of the week, Patrick. We got the Bengals heading to Arizona to play the Cardinals. Now, there's a lot of, I guess, bigger games this week, but when you have a 1-3 versus 1-3 matchup that could potentially decide the trajectory of an entire season, and one of those teams has the highest paid quarterback ever in the history of all time, you have to have a spotlight on this game. Patrick, what do you see happening in this game? And do you think this is going to be the death of the Bengals or the potential birth of a new life?
I don't know how the Bengals are favored in this game, Josh. I look at the stats. I look at what my eyes have seen this football season, and you tell me you have a playoff-adjacent quarterback, Joshua Dobbs. He goes in. He's in Arizona. He's used to that climate. We know Cardinals, they know how to deal with that desert heat. I'm not sure a Bengal knows how to do that, much less a Bengal with a calf injury. And so how can the Bengals even remotely come close to a win this weekend?
Oh,
It's on the shoulders of one person, Josh. And that person is Evan McPherson. Evan McPherson may have to kick 10 field goals for the Bengals to win this game because we know Joe Burrow and the offense can't score.
Yeah, they have not been able to score. Confirmed, Joe Burrow has not even half the amount of touchdowns Justin Fields has this season. And so,
we're having a conversation about Justin Fields here on whether or not he's a franchise guy. So what are we supposed to be talking about?
What are we supposed to be saying about Joe Burrow? I think it's really hard for me to take the Cardinals here strictly because, it's just if the implications if the Bengals lose is that they are this season's over. Like they will not make the playoffs if they lose. If you go one and start at 1-4, you're not going to make the playoffs. And so it's hard for me to pick the Cardinals, but I'm going to go with my gut. This is not a bet, by the way, because this is just go with my gut.
Not a bet.
Throw it out there. If I had to pick, I'd probably pick the Cardinals.
Thank you. And you see this, Josh? This is the hammer for the nail in the coffin for the Bengals season.
Sorry, Bengals. Hey, we know we have Bengals fans watching the program. We are sorry.
Rest in
okay,
peace.
cool. Last thing on the docket, we got the Josh and Pat updates. We're not sure what the segment's called. It's just the life update section. Real quick, Patrick. I'm never gonna miss a bet again. I had this conversation with myself. I talked about it on live, and and it turns out it was the best decision I could have made. My life is stress free. I'm just hitting bets, and it's awesome. So, and I know you were a little bit upset yesterday, but
really upset because you know that I currently have one thing going for me, and it's tried to, crank up the bank total in the betting fund, and it's not to keep betting. It's for higher priorities. And when someone's on an all-time run and they're not sharing the bets, it's a tough look because you know who's really in their corner, and we found out yesterday.
Sorry. And you know what, though, Patrick? I'm sorry that I didn't know that you were sending messages to somebody in a state that gambling's legal. I didn't know that was happening, Patrick, because I thought you could only bet player over-under props. Okay, and that's not my style. I don't do that.
That's not your style. I understand that, Josh, but it's pretty wild. I can't believe that anybody would ever gamble illegally in this country. That's insane. I don't. And I'm not saying I do that. I'm not saying I do that.
So I'm just confused. I'm just confused. I didn't know.
I know people that do that. So
basically, Patrick, I didn't know. That's not on me because I will let you know. I wanted to help the boys. I sent it to the fantasy group chat because I know some of those people were in states they could do it. And so what can I say? I didn't know. And I thought, by the way, the Tampa ticket ride was done because guess what? The O's aren't going to play in Tampa Bay, right? Because Tampa Bay sucks.
It it's a World Series ride, Josh. It's the World Series ride.
This is World Series?
Yeah, that's for the World Series. So now, I've just lost a day and money because I took the Commanders. And if I would have known that I was
you should have consulted me. I would have told you that it was Bears money line.
Well, I didn't know that the world was against me because you had that conversation. And you know what? Most of the time, you don't even bet. You never bet on half of these games.
Well, so tell you, when I do bet, I hit. So when I actually put money down,
yeah, but Josh, you
I had
didn't
the conversation
send me the bet.
with myself.
You didn't.
Well, I'm
you
sorry.
didn't send me the bet until halfway through the game. How am I supposed to know that?
Okay. Well, then DJ Moore anytime touchdown was a lock. And
clearly,
and by the way, I said I had this conversation with myself, and I feel bad. I said I knew in the car. I drove to Maryland. I said, I know it's 2 touchdowns. I know it's 2 touchdowns. I didn't know it was 3, but I was like, I know it's 2 touchdowns. But I said, no, I'm gonna have to put 1. Where we safe? And I should have listened to myself because, again, that was my conscience telling me, Josh, you said you're never missing a bet again. You know what the answer is. And so that was great. Also on the thing here, Patrick, I have a half marathon in 2 weeks. Today is the first run I've done, and I just wanted to let the people know because I need a word of encouragement. Maybe it's because I won't. It's interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, Patrick. I got like $135. Like, it's expensive half marathon that I signed up for because a friend convinced me to do it. And I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. Little did I forgot that football season was right around the corner and that nothing else matters.
And that's not on you. That's on your friend. The friend needs to know better. You can't. It's not running season.
It's not running season. So I took my first run today. I ran 2.5 miles. So all I really need to get is like
that's good because
like
we know that's roughly about a half a marathon right there.
Well, you get to 3, and I think it's all downhill from there. And so I'm close. But I am a little bit nervous. I've procrastinated in a lot of things in my life. I think this might be the one, like, because I'm running a half marathon. Like, I'm showing up. Like,
no, you're not.
I paid the ticket.
No, Josh. Well, that's the only. If you didn't have any money in it, I would argue.
I have money in it.
Like, if you didn't have money, I'd be like, Josh, like, I think you have turf toe. Like, you shouldn't be running on it.
I mean, well, listen, I do have the torn hip. So I just want to say
torn
that
hip
probably
that doctors can't figure out how to fix.
No, they can. It's just like a $30,000 surgery. And I'm just not in the market for that right now.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
So the thing is, but I'm going to do it. I'm showing up. I might vlog it. I don't know. It's just, we're in a tough spot. But anyway, anything for you? Any updates from you, Patrick? Anything we got?
No.
How's the World Series fun going?
World Series is down. It's down. The World Series, actually, we're about even. But we could have been up after last night on the World Series fun.
And it was like plus 250 was the money line for the Bears.
Oh, yeah. And we probably would have thrown a little parlay on it, too. And we could have really. Yep. Thanks, Josh.
Would you have listened to me, though?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. That's the question.
Because you had the conversation with yourself that said, I'm not losing another bet. And I thought I had that conversation with me, but it just didn't go through yet. It went through for you. So
it went through. It did. So that's the thing. So if I have any locks this weekend, I'm not. See, here's the thing about the picks and pancakes lock is that's always tough because it's like.
But that's an asterisk situation.
I'm not sure if the logic is always like actually my. We'll see.
It's a comedic. Yeah.
Well, no, it's real, but anyway, guys, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. If you're still watching, you can't DM us on Instagram anymore to get your free $10 McDonald's gift card because we already gave that away. But you can DM us on Instagram to get a free mug. so that's cool, I guess. Make sure you guys go to picksandpancakes.com to read everything that's happening in sports. We'll see you guys on Sunday night for our TikTok live watch along, and then back on Monday for another episode of Josh and Pat. Love you all. A peace.